guys, I'm Carolyn from Tranquil Mentor, and I do videos on DIYs and reviews and more. And if you like that kind of content, you'll love my channel. With that, let's get into the video. Hello everybody, today we'll be making a summer bee tier tray using craft items from Dollar Tree, Dollar General, and a cutting machine. And I'll also be using the Cricut Maker, but you can use rub-ons, paint, stencils, decals to make these frames. I'm using some Oracle 651 vinyl, which I had on hand, and I also downloaded a really cute bee design from Etsy, and I'll link that below. But this is perfect for a tier tray. And first what I'm doing is I'm just going to take some rubbing alcohol and I'm going to clean the surface so I can get any oily residue off so I can get good adhesion. I am using clear transfer tape from Expressions Vinyl to transfer my design to the frame. That works best for me. I've tried others and they also work, but this just saves time. It saves time and it makes transferring easier. This reduces some of the time and difficulty when transferring to your object. And we want a stress-free transfer. There's no stress in crafting. We want to be tranquil. I cut out the different colors of vinyl and I used a layering technique to get all of the different design colors onto my transfer tape. I just can't get over how cute this design is. I have a Dollar Tree scraper that I'll use to rub the design on so that I can get even more adhesion. And Dollar Tree has some wonderful tools to help with design transfer. There are scrapers, spatula, a weeding tool, all of really good quality. And you can find them in the Crafter Square section. I just love them. I use mine all the time. Alright, and then we'll get our transfer all set here. It'll take a little bit of doing. The letters are really small, and I noticed too that if your letters are a little bit bigger, it helps. But this is how it turned out. I think it's just so cute. And I love the way it turned out. And then I'm taking a Sharpie from Dollar Tree. This is the fine one. And it's just black. And I'm going to make the face on, just the eyes and a smiling mouth. And then when I get done with that, what I'll do is I'm going to make some little dotted lines, and that's going to give me a trail of where the bee would fly. It helps also to turn it so that it's easier for you to make the dots. I don't think you could see them right now, but I'll zoom in on it later. And that is how it turned out. And I don't know if you could see that little trail, but at this point, what I'll do too is I'll put a light sealer on it just to, spray it. And then I'm just pushing down the design to make sure it adheres. I love it. Next, we'll be making a bee pillow for our tier tray. I got this pot holder from Dollar General, and I just love the design of the bee, and it already had that quilted look to it. I especially like that it was only $1. Can you believe the quality? I just love to take something that is used for one thing and make it into something else. I had some stuffing on hand from an old pillow, and I just used that to fill it up. I purchased some of the Dollar Tree fabric from the Crafter's Square section, and this is a white cotton, and I'm going to put that on the back. The fabric is very see-through, so I don't have to worry about making a template. I can just line it up. I'm going to go close to the corner of my fabric so I have extra fabric left over for another DIY. And I tossed around the idea of ironing this, and then I thought once it has the stuffing, it should be fine. Won't be able to see it. Next, what we'll do is we'll cut off these tabs here and glue them down. And it's best just to use a pencil so you don't get burned. And now we'll take the B side and we'll put that down onto the white fabric. And we'll just get everything lined up. And what I'll do is I'll glue just on the edges here inside of the yellow. And that way we won't see the yellow on the pillow. It'll just be, white edges. And again, I'm using my pencil to help not get burned. And what we'll do is we'll leave a little bit of room for the opening. We just won't glue in that spot. And that'll be the room for us to turn it inside out and also be able to stuff the pillow. Now our edges are all glued down, and I will trim the excess fabric off, and I'll make sure to round the corners so we don't have a lot of bulk around the edges of the pillow. And now we can take that opening and pull everything through. And you could also use a pencil to get into the corners and just try to get them a little squared off, but it's going to be bulky. It's just for the glue and everything. But now it's all ready for stuffing. And after that's all set and it's stuffed to just the way you like it, you could fold these edges in and just put some hot glue on and get them all sealed back up. And what I'm doing is just pulling on the edges just to see how much more I can get out, and just kind of giving it a shape so that it looks like a square. Next, I am taking an empty sports bottle cup and I'm going to be making it into a beehive. And I'm just using my glue gun here to make some perforations so that I can get the top of it off, because we won't be using that. I had some jute twine in my stash for many years, and my Dollar Tree, the stores that I go to, they were out of it. It's not my favorite, but I would have really liked to have had the other string, the other jute twine. And what I've done here is I've got a piece of cardboard, and I'm going to make 2 circles. One of them is going to be the outside diameter of the opening of the bottle, and the other one will be the inside diameter. The larger hole is going to be for the top of the bottle so that I can completely wrap the string around and close it up. And then the smaller one will be the beehive door so that the bees can have somewhere to fly into. And now that I have my circle cut out, I'm just going to try it on for size and just see if it fits, and it looks pretty good. Now I'm just going to put some glue around the edges, and that way I can get it glued in. And then I'm just going to hold it steady there so the glue dries and holds it in. Okay, it looks pretty good. Alright, and next I'll get my jute twine ready. And I'll start out by just gluing a piece of the very beginning of the string to the bottom of the bottle, and then just work my way around. And what I'll do is I won't do my or glue all the way around. I'll just sporadically put drops of glue on and then wrap it all up. And as I get to the top, I'm just going to wrap it as close as I can and just get that opening closed up and just move my way in little by little, holding as I go. I did add a lot more glue here to this step, but I mostly along the way I had just wrapped it and glued, intermittently throughout. But here this took a lot of glue, and I had to be really careful because it was so hot and so concentrated that I did burn a little bit, even though I had my finger protectors on. So I just had to take my time. And then, what I'll do is I'll work, just keep looping around and gluing until I get a nice little top piece there. And now that I have it finished all the way to the top, I'm going to make a loop, and I'm figuring out how to position it so that I can show you and that I can also get a loop to hold its shape there. And I'm going to get rid of some string because it's just getting in my way right now. And then I'm going to tuck that in. And we'll put a little bit of glue on that too to keep it secure. And then it looks bad with the glue, even though if I would put a bow on it, I just didn't feel that it was, going to look good. So I'm finishing it off with this extra piece of string here, and I'm just going to wrap it around and glue that. And I'm just pushing it in and moving it around just so it looks good. And then we'll just trim that piece off and tuck it right in. This is the first time I've ever made a beehive, as you can tell, and I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to come out great. I did have a lot of excess glue on it when I got finished, so I just tried to clean that up as best I could. There was a lot of little hairs and stuff, and I burned those, and I picked a lot of the glue off. But I think if I would have used that Dollar Tree string, the jute twine there, the thick one, I think I would have had, a little bit more easier of a job here. But, it was a little bit difficult, but I felt good that I used some of that string because it's just been in my drawer for so many years. All right, and now we are going to put our door on so our bees have a place to go. And what I'm doing is I have a thick Sharpie that's also from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to color this door in, and then we'll glue it on. And we can also use crafting and DIYing to reduce stress and anxiety. We must be good to ourselves and take the time for things like meditation and manifestation. If you don't have enough time to meditate, just try a 5 to 15 minute session. And what you can do to get started meditating, you can start by taking a deep breath and a deep inhale for 3 seconds. Hold your breath for 2, and a long exhale through your mouth for 4 seconds. You can keep your eyes closed in a sitting position. No mantra needed, but if you have one, perfect. If you are outside, you can choose to focus on one sound. If you're, you can listen to the birds or maybe the wind or anything that you can isolate out. And if you're inside, you can always use a sound recorder or a sound machine or something like that. And your phone will come in handy because you can set a timer for when your session is over. And that is really all there is to it. I've also linked some journals to log your sessions, and I made them and I have them posted on Amazon, and I will make sure I post the links in the description. All right, and we put some glue on our door, and what we'll do is just press that into place and hold on to it until it dries. It does take a bit, and we want it to stay on there really good, so we'll just take our time. And now that that's dry, we're going to take some of that jute twine and just make a border around the doorway. And I'm just going to glue that into hot glue that into place. I wanted to put some flowers, just some white little daisies, on the beehive. And I had some of these, I believe they're from Dollar Tree a long time ago, but they usually have these little daisies in stock. For the most part, they do. So I'm going to take them, I snip them off, and I'm going to take my glue gun and glue them on the beehive. Next, we will put a bow on top of our beehive. This is some ribbon from Dollar Tree. It's some bee ribbon. And it was there, I think, probably a few months ago. It was in my Dollar Tree. And we'll just do a regular bow as if we're tying our shoes. And we're going to tie that ribbon underneath the loop that we made on top of the beehive. And I had a lot of extra glue on my beehive from gluing the string down, so I made drips of honey with my glue gun, and that covered most of them up. Next, I took the other half of that sports bottle drink and I spray painted it with 2 times Rust-Oleum paint in ivory silk. I sprayed 3 coats and let it dry overnight, and then I had some glitter, some iridescent glitter on hand, and I brushed that over with a just a medium-sized brush. Next, I have some scrapbook paper here that look like honey, and I'm tracing out a circle so that I can put that paper inside the cup so that it looks like the, it's like a barrel of honey. So we'll just cut out the circle, and I'm going to wrinkle it up too, just to give it a little bit of texture. And then what I'll do is just trim it to fit and just kind of get an idea of how I want to fit it in. So it needs a little bit more trimming to get that circle shape. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to do that, but then I thought I'd trim that up if I thought it'd be easier. Okay, just wrinkle it up a little bit more and get it sized. Just kind of stuff it in and look at it and see what you think. I didn't like that it was sticking over like that. I probably should have left it, but so I decided to trim it again just to make it feel a little bit better. Alright, and it looks pretty good. I got a little bit of a spot missing there, so what I'll try to do is maybe match it, and I think it looked like it wasn't worth it, so I just decided to use it the way it is. And what I'll do is I'm going to hot glue the paper to the back, but I want to get my little protectors on so that I don't burn myself when I'm putting the glue on. Alright, and I'm still fussing around with that little spot, but I think it's going to be okay. Alright, and we'll just glue it in. Put a lot of glue. And I did this way because I didn't want to use the other side because I figured I'd have to stuff it. So with some things I figured I'd just turn it upside down and use it as my honey pot. I also filled the top in with hot glue and ran some drips around the edge. And right now I'm taking some burlap ribbon from Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to finish that bottom edge with that burlap. I'm just cutting the ribbon to size and still working on a way to get it around the bottom. And I felt like the little wire was getting in my way, so I just trimmed it off. And what I'll do next is I'm going to put some hot glue in there, just a bead along the way there. And I'm going to fold this into thirds and just see if I can get it into, you know, a thin strip. All right, and here's how the honey pot turned out. I had some bees that I 3D printed and I put those on. I'll link that file below. And that font is cut from my Cricut. It's called Honey Bunny. And you can also find that below. And the drips hot glue, I painted them with some yellow paint that I had on hand. And the honey dipper is a 3D print file. And what I did was I made it look like that there was honey dripping from it with my glue gun. And I have a special glue that I used, hot glue that I used, and I'll also link that in the description below. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to make a bead garland for our bee tier tray. And I've got some jute twine here, and some of these beads, the square ones, are left over from one of the bead garlands from Dollar Tree, and they were in the Seaside collection. And I'm taking the jute twine, I measured it about how long I want my garland, and I folded it over 4 times. And then I'm stretching it out here just to one length. And I'm going to make a knot at the end to hold the beads on, and I'm just making an overhand knot here, and then instead of pulling it taut right away, I'm wrapping it a few times. All right, and then I'm going to take one of the smaller beads, because I found that with the smaller beads you have a better chance of the garland holding, and then you can put your larger beads on. And this didn't hold very well, so I went back in and I just tied another overhand knot right over the other one, and then I'm pulling my string through again and again here, just kind of wrapping it around, and then I'm going to pull a nice big knot here, pull it nice and taut, and let's test this out and we'll see if it will hold our bead on. And that looks like it's going to work. And then next I'll be working on getting a pattern together, and I'll just try a few beads out and see what they look like, see if I like them. And maybe next a brown. And also, if it's easier too, you could put a piece of just Scotch tape or something, or tape at the end. That bead was a little bit shorter. It got shaved off, so I put that aside. And then here, and then I'll start my pattern here. And then I'll take, one of the lighter beads too and put that in. All right, and the multicolored beads there, the brown, the beige, and then the darker beige, those were left over from a long, long time ago, from when my son did a project in school. And I think it was an abacus or something. And it just, did eventually fall apart. So I saved the beads from it. And I'm really glad that I did, because these are the perfect color. All right, and I like that pattern. So what I'll do is go through and repeat that pattern. I took one of the chalkboard hearts from Dollar Tree, from the craft section. And then I have a white chalk pen, and I believe it's like a waxy type of chalk, and I believe I got that from Dollar Tree, but I'm not totally positive, but I think I did. And then what I'll do with the heart is I'm just going to write something on with that chalk type pen, and I'm going to write "Be Sweet." And then what I'll do is I'll take that heart and I'm going to put it on the end of the garland, and then on the other end I'll make a tassel. And I'm just going to tie a knot to tie the heart on. And what I'm doing here is I've tied my heart on, and I'm looping back through some of the beads just so I can get it hidden and also give it a little bit more strength. I got this yellow yarn from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make my tassel with it. And what I'm doing is I just measured out just, you know, what I thought would work. And then, you know, realizing that I was going to be folding it in half. And I believe here there's about 8 strands. And this was very difficult to work with. And so I just continued on getting through it. And just, you know, it's just very flimsy and hard to get a hold of, really. But I did like the color of it, so, and I really wanted to use it. So I'm just taking some jute twine, and I'm going to tie a loop at the top, and, you know, with you know, folding the strands in half, and then tie a knot in there, and then I wanted to tie another knot just to keep it real tight. And then here I'm just pulling out the strands just to get an idea of you know, what type of length I have. And then what I'll do is I'll cut a strand, and I'm going to make this kind of loop over here, and I'm attaching a piece of string here so that I can make a loop around. I don't know if you would really call it a loop, but I'm making the bottom of that loop, if that makes sense. But you'll see, let's see if I can, yeah, I see I did have some trouble here. And, you know, when I was trying to pull everything through, and I was getting mixed up of what strings were what. And then eventually I did get it figured out. But really what I was attempting to do was to make a loop down there. I'll finagle my way through the rest of this, and at the end of the video, I will show you how the final tassel came out. And here is our finished tier tray. The tier tray itself is from Northern Tools, and I got it on sale sometime last year. It was a closeout, and it was a really, really great price. And the Be Sweet, that's our garland that we worked on. And the Be Kind is a rolling pin. I'll link that file and the fonts below. The Be Happy tray, I can link that font as well, and the whole design. And here I've made some honey dippers myself. I 3D printed them, and I 3D printed these bees and painted them, put little wings on them, and I put a lot of glitter on them. And you'll see too, there's that fake honey. The tea towel that I have on the tray, that was my mom's, and I use it in my DIYs so I can keep her close to me. It just reminds me of her. And the honeybee fonts that are on the black Dollar Tree mugs are from burtonavenue.com. And rolling pins, the rolling pin 3D files are on Thingiverse. Petal 3D made those, or made that file. And then the honey spoons are also on Thingiverse, and that is 3D Maker Crow. Also, the honey font that's on the honey pot, that's from actionfonts.com. And then, you know, I will make sure, you know, that I certainly put links to everything. And unfortunately, I lost the video footage for the honey dippers. So I will link those down below. And what they are yellowish glue sticks. And to make it easier for you to find them, I've posted a link. It's an affiliate link. And if you do decide to purchase the glue sticks, if you would be so kind to use my link, I do get a small commission, and it does help support my channel. And also, more of a note on the glue sticks, they are for car repair. So they do have, I think what they do is they use them to fill dents, but I'm not sure. But they do have quite an odor. So you'll want to wear a mask and be in a ventilated area. And, if you're sensitive, you want to be really careful. I really love how this tier tray turned out. I'm so happy with it. And I really do like the yellow tassel. Hey guys, crafting and DIYing is a great outlet for stress and anxiety, along with meditation, manifestation, and mindfulness. I have a free downloadable meditation guide that I'm going to put in the description link down below. It has helped me tremendously, and I just wanted to share it with you. It will be in PDF format, so you'll have to use a PDF reader or something like Adobe or whatever you use to view documents like that. I'm also working on an Amazon logbook for meditation, and when I finish it, I'm going to put it on Amazon.com, and I'll put that link in the description for you below. Thanks for watching my video today. I appreciate you so very much. Please like and subscribe for more videos like this one, and I will see you in the next one.